move might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male G-O-D, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good, and welcome to an all-new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Say it with me now, Alpha Male G-O-D, 51 Spade, a.k.a. the nigga you love to hate. I'm in the building.
You know how we do this. We got two exciting topics tonight. The first one is the thin line between turning the page and closing the book. The second one is, if you did that shit, you meant that shit. Is sorry even necessary? Let's go. What are we doing? What are we doing first? If you did that shit, you meant that shit.
It seems like it's on you. It sounds like you got some shit to get off.
If you said that shit, you meant that shit. Like, is sorry even necessary? And it kind of goes with the other topic. So I'm going to try not to go into specifically being broken up and saying sorry. Maybe we should just focus on the things that we do daily that piss people off, get under their skin, which people might consider mistreating and mishandling. You know, is sorry even necessary if the person is justifying what it is that they did? So if a person did something and they say, okay, listen, this is the choice that I made and this is why I made that choice. Mm-hmm. Is it really necessary to say sorry? Because they're really not sorry, because if they were put in that situation again, I feel like they would make that same choice. So what is the sorry really for?
I say don't say sorry. I just say what it is that I did. A lot of times, I don't want to say I'm sorry for something I did based on situations. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes situations will put people in certain places. So, hey, whatever happened. You know, now, depending on your mate, spouse, whatever the case may be, someone might put a cherry on top just to say I'm sorry, but I don't really say I'm sorry because sometimes if I don't feel sorry, I don't feel like saying it. I'm just like, hey, you ask me what happened, I tell you what happened, because I tell everybody, before you ask me, do you really want to know? That's really the question of the day. Like, a lot of women, and so I'm going to speak from a man perspective, a lot of women sometimes will say, you know, should I ask this? And when I start hearing women say shit like that, I'm like, you already know the answer. You already know the answer. You just looking for confirmation. But my thing is, do you want to go down the road to ask the question and receive it back? And depending on the person that you with, can you handle the truth?
I mean, I've been sitting here for a minute and I'm thinking, I just said, and I said it with emotion, because I feel like at the end of the day, if you can justify to me why you did it, then don't even say sorry. But then I'm sitting here thinking, I still want you to be sorry about how it made me feel.
Why? Because you feel that way. I don't.
Because if you love someone and they hurt, then you should be sorry that what you did hurt them.
Not necessarily.
How so?
Because, like I said, there's certain situations that can happen as far as a decision that I might have to make that really doesn't have anything to do with you. So if the situation doesn't have really anything to do with you and I make a decision to do it, and I did it for the well-being of me or to get something accomplished, I'm not sorry about what I did. You're forcing me almost like to lie and say, well, you hurt my feelings. Like, don't you feel bad about that? No, it's a situation that I had to do because I was placed in a situation to do it. So I had to do it. I'm not sorry about it. Now, am I sorry about your feelings being hurt?
That's what I want to know.
If it depends, but depending on the scenario, I might not be sorry about that. The only thing that you asking me now is like, okay, well, my feelings are hurt. Like, don't you feel bad about that? I might not.
And that, to me, would be where the problem would come in.
Yeah, okay.
No, it would be. It would be, because I would say that a woman who would listen to your justification and say, okay, that makes sense. I get it. However, when you do things like this is how it makes me feel. And I'm guessing that it would make me feel like I can't trust you. I'm not worthy of the information.
But hold on.
You don't trust me.
Stop right there.
There are things that come along with it, and those are all negative. So it should be okay for you to say, well, I'm sorry that what I did made you feel that way.
Now, see
That's not you apologizing for doing what you did.
But see those extra things that you put in? Those extra things that you put in about I'm not trustworthy, I guess you're a liar, stuff like that. How does those two come into play when I'm telling you honestly what happened? So the trustworthy part don't exist. I told you what happened. So now I don't feel sorry about it because you asked me. So I'm showing you the trust level that you asked me. I answered you. Didn't beat around the bush and no shit like that. And then gave you the answer. Now, the other part of what you're talking about, this is the thing. When you're talking about liar. If you're going to hold me to liar, then you got to hold me to liar all the way through the fact. So have you ever been talking to somebody, or just dealing with somebody, and then someone say they sorry, and you were like, this motherfucker ain't sorry?
Yeah.
And this is the thing of what I'm talking about a lot of times. I feel like with mates, you know whether your mate is sorry or not. So for me just to say I'm sorry just for shits and giggles, I feel I don't do it. If I'm gonna tell you I'm sorry, I mean the shit that I'm sorry, that I really feel I'm sorry for you, if I feel that way. But if you asking me an honest question and I did some shit and I don't feel sorry, I don't feel like I'm gonna say I'm sorry if I didn't feel that way.
Okay.
It's just putting me into a liar category.
Okay, cool. Touche. However, you did something that a lot of us get when they use the words angry black woman. You kind of switch that now, talking about women in general, like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Why does it equate to lying and cheating when I told you what happened? Well, guess what? You're talking in past tense. You said what happened. That means you already did it, and now I know. That's where the lies and the deception come from, because I'm sure I asked you why you was doing it, what was happening, not with the ED, but with the ING, and you had to tell me something else. You didn't tell me then. So that's where it's, okay, well, you didn't answer my text, or you told me you were somewhere else, or you implied that you might be somewhere else, or any of those things lead to mistrust, me not being confident, you not trusting me not trusting you. That's where liar and cheater and mistrust come from, because you're talking in past tense. So while this shit was going on and I was asking you what was happening, what was I getting? Lies or either mistreatment.
I'm not talking about that part, and I feel sorry for you that if something like that.
He ain't talking about that part.
Well, I'm not, because you're talking about something specific. So I was actually talking about more broad. And then when I'm talking about someone asking me something, it's not something that I lied about. It's something that you did.
Or what about omit now? Because there's the same as not saying anything and going to do some shit.
That's cool. And you can say admit, but that still don't have nothing to do with what you just said. You said, well, someone is lying about where they at and where they gonna be at, and this shit just ain't gonna. I ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't know the answer to this question and you saying, I want to know, what is it I'm looking for? And then you need to ask this question to me. And I've already did it. But I didn't lie to you and say I went somewhere else, or I didn't do this, or whatever.
But don't you think that even the fact that you failed in such a comfortable place, this is a debate show, so you could have used the present tense, you could have used the past tense, you chose past tense. That's comfortable for men. Because usually they do shit, and then after the fact, you want to say, oh, but I told you what I did. But you told me after. That ain't the same as while the shit is happening, somebody's asking you to keep me in the know. Keep me in the know. That means a step-by-step, play-by-play. A motherfucker will send you to Winn-Dixie and expect you to be back in an hour. They call you an hour and a half later and you done stopped at Ross and they upset because you didn't tell them that you went to Ross. But a man won't tell you his play-by-play. And while shit happening, it's kind of like, let y'all, whatever, do y'all little walkthrough, and then after the walkthrough, you want to tell me you did the walkthrough. Why not tell me, yo, I'm about to do the walkthrough?
It's mighty funny to me that I always hear from your side, like, it's always like men just do this type of thing. So are we set on women don't do this?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so I that was a question. So just say people. Because really, at the end of the day, it's not a man thing and it's not a woman thing. You know how many fucking women that I've been with have told me shit after the fact, and they know for a goddamn fact that this question is coming. But see, they didn't give you that upfront answer because they omitted some shit. They know some guy that you don't like. Y'all that you might be throwing an event. You know he's coming, but you like, well, it wasn't guaranteed that he was coming, so that's why I didn't tell you that he wasn't coming. But you knew you was doing this event, and then he was a possibility of him coming. But this is, like you said, after the fact.
But don't you feel
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because we gonna stick with what you was saying. It was already done. So now, the question is, you withheld this information. Are you saying sorry, and why?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this. I feel like there are some things you can say to make yourself look guilty. If there's a possibility that an ex is going to come, me going to my man saying, I just want to tell you something like, old boy might be coming through, you know what I'm saying, but not really. So basically, I just to set off your antennas. And nothing really is happening other than the motherfucker got an invite. But now, because I mentioned it out of the blue, like, now you gonna come in the room an hour later and be like, oh, well, when was the last time you talked to him? And how he found out about it. It's just gonna lead to other questions because I created now that narrative instead of him showing up as me saying, wow, thanks for coming, and then saying, I really didn't think he was gonna come. I mean, of course he got an invitation because it was on Facebook, but I didn't think he was gonna come. That sounds more genuine to me than I need to tell you something, like I accidentally sent somebody an invitation or somebody accidentally found out about it and they might come. I mean,
so my question
that
is,
sounds trite.
And my question would have been, what are y'all still Facebook friends for, and why did you send that invite? So you look guilty right then and there from those things that you saying, because I'm going to say to myself, you already knew this already. So instead of jumping ahead of it, like what women want you to do, they want you to jump ahead of it. But when it's for a woman, when women don't jump in front of some shit, this is why this actually comes up of the topic of what you're talking about, because you already want to jump to, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? And men don't jump to that because it's going to be factors that come into play about those things. So that's why I was saying, like, certain situations might be different.
But my question to you was, why did you fall back into the pocket of the past? I think I want you to admit that you're somebody that in the moment,
well, I wasn't. You brought that.
You don't check in.
Well, you brought that up.
You can't possibly check in.
Well, you brought that up, and so I wasn't speaking from the perspective of that, and I can't really speak from the perspective of that. That sounds like something like personally, like you were going through. That might have been something that might have been something personally, but I'm gonna just say that I can't speak for all men on what decisions why they make.
I'm asking you why it was so comfortable for you to say, oh, I'll tell you what happened, instead of you saying, well, I'll tell you what's happening. I want to know why you unconsciously made the decision to fall back in that comfort of something past tense versus something current tense. I'm trying to do an exercise with you so that you recognize that even your comfort zone is after the fact. It's never in the moment. And that's a problem because for us, y'all want to know in the moment. Y'all know where we are every moment of the day. I'm not saying that women should want to know or even ask, but I just want you to know that the way you're operating is on your own. You almost operate like you're single, and then the conversation, you're back in a relationship. You're doing shit out there like you are. You're moving like a single man. And then when you come home after doing it, you want to get back in the relationship by telling me what happened instead of telling me what's happening.
This sounds good. The thing about this is, like, when women start dealing with an individual, I'm just gonna answer your question. Your exercise, as you boldly put it, is what trips me out about women is women be acting like they woke up with Darkwing Knight, like all of a sudden. Like, he was Darkwing Knight when y'all first started going out. He ain't start doing no shit irregular. If he wasn't telling you shit where he was going before, he ain't telling you no shit after you married, engaged, any of this shit. This shit is
irregular.
This shit is like nothing new. Every woman that's saying some shit about their man is some shit they've been arguing with their man about
Since
from
day
one. So don't give me this shit about like, well, why do you feel so, you know what I'm saying, about like after the fact. No, he been doing that shit after the fact every fucking single time that shit done came up. And I'll also say that a lot of times, every individual are different. There's some women you can say some shit to, just like the scenario I painted about you. There's certain shit, like what you said. Well, if I told you I sent that invite, your antennas is gonna go up. How you know his antennas gonna go up? Because you know this motherfucker. So you already know you fucked up. But instead of you jumping in front of that bullet, you just let it play out. And I don't even understand why. I be like, what the fuck is this shit about? You let this shit play out, huh? You just knew I was gonna get mad because the end result was still I'm pissed off. But instead of you jumping in ahead of it, there was nothing to be done anyway. And it's the same thing in reverse. If I know something about you, okay, she finna be pissed off about this shit, and I omit it, okay? Like, well, you was gonna be pissed off about the shit anyway. The shit was already moving in TransUnion, and I was just letting the shit play out. And if it just so happened not to go that way, then cool. And if it went the other way and you ask me a question, I'm just gonna tell you what happened.
Y'all get this right. He's still on that ED shit instead of that ING. That's
No,
what
I'm not.
but that's too much of a deep conversation for alpha male gods.
I mean, it's
Because
different
you
for different
have
people, though.
Just went all the way around it, but I think I want you to sit with it, and all the men, I want you to sit with it, because we're just having a conversation. So for me, if you're just having a conversation, a lot of conversations should be in current tense.
But I'm sitting with it, but that's not true, because at the same point in time, I just gave that scenario. So let's just say, for instance, like when a woman fuck up some shit,
Here we go.
they don't, but you're talking about why you just don't go in current tense. I'm finna show you why. When a woman fuck up some shit, they know they fucked it up. But they don't jump ahead of it. They don't be like, baby. No, they wait until the shit just goes all off the rails. Then I got to go through bank statements and all kind of shit. I got to do like private eye investigation and shit. Like, okay, so we missing a lump sum of money, because my lady look the same way. Like every time she like have these question marks, that's like big puzzle. Like you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's some money missing out the account. Do you know anything? No, babe, I don't even know what you... Like, quick answers that you get. You know what I'm saying? I don't even understand shit. Now, keep in mind, if you know anything about me, I already know the answer to this, but now I got to go investigate. So now I'm trying to investigate on why some money missing. Okay, so on Thursday, you was at such and such, and you spent such and such amount of money. Yeah. But if we would have did this in current time, when you spent that money, I could have got the heads up that, I was out with old girl that night and I spent a little excess money that I probably shouldn't have spent. I know you said we had these bills coming up, but I might have made a boo-boo. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't get that in current time. I'm getting this after the fact.
I really do not like you.
You just said you want to do an exercise with me, and you got it. Nah, you don't like what I'm talking about. But it sounds right?
No.
See, even when they wrong, you know what I'm saying? They don't even admit it. And this is what I'm talking about right here. But if it was me, this is the thing. Women want to hold their feet to the fire. And this is the fact of the matter. This is what you're talking about. You want to hold the feet to the fire, but you dealing with your man. And really, at the end of the day, your man is your man. He's the king of the household. We can ruffle some feathers. We can do some shit, but really, at the end of the day, we are the man of the household, and you just want the accountability to feel that same way that you feel when you spent that excess money. We just don't feel that way. So that's kind of what you're talking about. You want the roles to reverse, but the men are not quivering like that. That's all.
I guess, child. The thin line between turning the page and closing the book. So Yeah, the thin line between turning the page and closing the book. I'm more of a page turner, and I've just discovered that, like, a new discovery about myself. Is that I'm more of a page turner than I am, okay, let's close that book and push it on.
Most women are page turners.
It's so weird to even say, because I'm just telling you, this is a fresh discovery about myself. Like, super fresh. And even saying it and getting laughed at, because I know in my heart or in my brain that closing the book is much better. I feel like my heart says that as you turn the page, you get over things, you grow, you move. It's life. It's the cycle of life. Me as just losing weight or going from an ugly duckling to a beautiful swan, somebody who had crooked teeth and now has straight teeth. That's turning the page. That's the way we've always dealt with life. The what is it called? The caterpillar one day becomes a butterfly. So I think that's what turning the page essentially is in your relationships. It's allowing the caterpillar to become a butterfly by allowing the pages to keep turning. If we keep ripping the pages out and throwing the book away in every relationship, then who will we end up spending our old age with? We're going to be alone in a nursing home with a whole bunch of CNAs because everybody that did us wrong, we closed the book. So I'm even though I feel like you're going to tell me I'm dumb for the next 30 minutes, I still feel like I wouldn't be a book closer. No matter if I was being clowned, picked on, hurt, I still feel like if the opportunity presented itself again, I still wouldn't close the book. And I feel like, yes, that's something I would probably need counseling for, but I feel like counseling makes you more mentally strong. I don't think it changes who you are in your heart.
Have you been to counseling?
No.
Then you probably should try it first before you start saying that type of things. Just saying.
It's just a good assumption, I'm saying.
Gotcha.
It helps you understand why you're making the choices that you're making. It doesn't necessarily change the heart you were born with. It just helps you understand your heart. That's it. You made that choice because of this. You made that choice because of this. That's all therapy really helps you recognize. It helps you recognize why you're doing the bullshit that you're doing. It doesn't necessarily change how you feel about doing it. And I feel very positive and loving about turning pages.
So do you feel people can change?
Yes.
No? Yes?
I feel like people can change.
Okay. And I respect that. I'm going to just say this.
I've changed. So to say people can't change, it would be stupid because I feel like for a whole year actually grew. It had to be like every 2 weeks. I was like, wow. Like, I didn't used to be this way. My way of thinking, what I would eat, what I thought was attractive. I started even something as simple as, I don't want a whole bunch of sugars and stuff in my coffee. I really want to taste the coffee bean. But that came with maturity. When I was young, I'm throwing caramel, vanilla, I'm mixing shit together. The coffee tastes like candy.
You were just young and dumb.
Or just not appreciating yet. When you mature, you start appreciating shit different. And turning the page is appreciating the book. Turning the page is really appreciating what's in the book. If you close the book, then you're saying, I don't value the fucking book. The book is fucked up. I don't give a fuck what's in chapter 10, and I'm only in chapter 2. That's what it essentially says when you close the book on people, is that you don't care about the chapters in their life. And when you love someone, I thought you're supposed to ride them chapters. That's what I thought.
You a Kanye West, Kim Kardashian fan, right?
Yes, I am.
So do you think she appreciates the book that Kanye is writing?
I will say no, but I'm gonna give a good reason.
No.
Let me at least say why.
No. Hold on. I will, but yeah. See, everything comes with a whole bunch of excuses when it comes to, like, you know, hey, if we don't read it. This is the realest shit I'm gonna tell you. In life, and I think whether you are spiritual, godly, believe in whatever you believe in, I believe in there's seasons for everything. And there are certain people that should never, ever, ever touch your life. There's some people that just aren't worthy of your life. There are people who squander like friendships. Like I take the word friendship real deep, and my circle is real small. So if I call you a friend, you're damn near like my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how small my circle is. So if someone say they know me, do they really know me? Do they know 51 Spade? Have you heard of me? Yeah. Had you seen me on this screen? Yeah. But that don't mean you know me. The same thing with celebrities, people that you meet in life. Like some people, I feel like they squander the time that they are around you, and then when all of a sudden, just like now, like when people die, then all these things go up about like how they miss you and damn, I should have spent more time with you. Yeah, that's why I was closing the book. Because don't appreciate me while I'm Ash. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate me in the flesh.
But
while
isn't
I'm doing
appreciating you turning the page? Isn't that a show of appreciation?
It depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends for each individual. And I'm not talking about that person's book. I'm talking about the book that I'm writing. Because the book that you're writing, that's your book. My book is totally different. So if I decide to tear a page out of my book, that's my prerogative. And sometimes I don't need those people in my life. I like to have people in my life that help me grow, that help me think, that helps me go to another level. Now, if someone is in my life, so let's just say I have a relationship, and I had a relationship like this. Didn't have really respect for what I was in, which is the entertainment business. Everything was stupid to her. Oh, you out at all times of the night. You in the studio. You doing these stupid beats and all this type of shit. Why are you picking up that camera? Like nag. You know what I'm saying? If you love me so much, the dream that I have, you not pushing me towards this dream. You're telling me basically like the shit that I love, that I grew up loving, basically is bullshit. I don't need somebody like that in my fucking life. Don't want them in my life either. And I'll decide to rip that page right out that book is someone that I don't need. If I decide to flip the page for someone, that's cool. And there are people that I have flipped the page on. I'm not saying I rip out every page, but there are some pages that need to be gone. And when you going through a relationship, I would say I look at relationships and I look at the person's value of what they brought into my life. And if it was just absolutely nothing and it just ended in a whole bunch of bullshit, negativity and the whole nine, and I couldn't even decide why I would keep you in my life, block, be gone, none of that shit. And I'm good at it too. You know what I'm saying? Because you had the opportunity to touch the light and you didn't appreciate it.
Let me ask you a question.
Shoot.
Do you believe that even if somebody giving you their ass to kiss, do you believe the lesson is to give them your ass to kiss back, or to make sure they know that you really love them, so when they come around, they're going to say to themselves, damn, I gave someone who really loved me my ass to kiss. That's why I think, for me, I choose turning the page, because I really want this person to understand that there was love. I was really in it. This shit is real for me. So even if the motive isn't to say something to get someone back, for me, my motive in turning the page or keeping the communication open sometimes is to let this person know, wow, you gave up on me. Let me remind you of what it is that I did, what it is that I feel. Even with you giving me your ass to kiss, I can still say, I love you. I loved you. Damn, I'm hurt that this is happening to us. I'm hurt about it. I feel like telling people sometimes it's gonna be a bigger lesson for them to end, because if they give you your ass to kiss and then you pretend like, fuck that bitch, I'm gonna give her my ass to kiss too. Then when the healing time, or when the karma comes around, or when the lesson comes around for the person, they could justify what they did because you did it too. Man, I gave them my ass to kiss and it really wasn't right, but then they gave me their ass to kiss too. And it's further from the truth. Only giving you my ass to kiss because you did it to me. I really want to say, wow, I loved you and you're hurting me like this, so that later on they remember that. They don't remember the ass to kiss. They remember hurting a real person.
Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you why I brought up that Kanye and Kim scenario. The same thing what you said about like people who, they grow. Certain people grow. Sometimes when you marry somebody, you might become another person, either for better or worse. And this is something that a lot of times that couples go through, and especially couples like them. When she, her idea or her her brand is at the end of the day sex appeal. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what she's gonna post the most of this and that. And there is at one point in time I honestly feel like Kanye did appreciate her beauty and stuff like that. But when you marry somebody and we become one, and you're half of my one, you become a representation of me. And also, not only did I marry you, giving you my last name, and we're pushing forward as a family, we also start to have a family. Mm-hmm. Now, we're gonna go into now what you're talking about. He loved her, showing her everything, that appreciative of it. And know what she doing? Giving her ass to fucking kiss. I don't feel my wife should dress that way. She should dress respectfully. She should be around my homeboys more respectfully and stuff like that. Is that going on? No. Do I think she'll ever get it? No. Because her character of who she is more about like, look, nigga, my brand is more than this. More than this marriage, more than you. I love you. I don't love you that much.
And that's what I wanted to kind of say, but not the way you're saying it. When and this is why, because with a woman like Kim, who is not really an aggressive person, but she's become successful doing one thing.
That's cool.
And so when someone walks into your life and says, you know what, the one thing you do that has made you successful ain't gonna work for our marriage, that's scary. So now, I'm not saying she's right, because you married him and he's the king. I believe that a wife should, and I know women are going to say you are fucking out of your mind. If your husband is saying to you that this job isn't gonna work and you married him, then that job is gone. That you are that man's wife.
And now,
especially if he could provide, because we're not saying that if you quit your job, then y'all gonna be poor. He could afford to tell her, I don't like what you do.
But on this subject, it's really at the end of the day, she's still giving, and will she be appreciative of it? No. And even sometimes when you meet people with logic, it doesn't even really matter if it's logic. Like at the end of the day, if I was like, look, man, we got a daughter. Your daughter's gonna see a sex tape of you. You understand what I'm saying? But what point in time is she gonna see you where you were trying to act better? And that's the problem that Kanye can see is like...
Eventually, she's becoming a fucking lawyer. He just had to stay long enough for her to put her clothes back on.
That's cool. And I can be the greatest painter Da Vinci. But had it happened yet? No. We can have a whole bunch of shit that we want to try to do. Like, there's a lot of people that start off with projects and do things and they just don't finish. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being 100% serious. That's cool. You want to be a lawyer. Your dad was a lawyer, hibbity hoo-ha. But I get that. But at the end of the day, that has nothing to do about showing respect to the person that you love and giving them your ass to kiss. If he comes in there and saying to you that he really has a problem with the way that you look, really has a problem, not wanting you to stop, just tone it down. And he met with resistance. Well, you met me like this. You understand what I'm saying? How could this person be appreciative of some shit like that when someone is coming to them what you're saying, they heart on their sleeve, saying how they feel, wanting shit better for their family, and then motherfucker just give them their ass a kiss? I don't know nobody that can just stay in that.
This is a good example. Now, this is a good example. Perfect. So he's saying, I want you to put on clothes. And she gives him her ass to kiss. What I'm saying is, he could do the same. He could just say, okay, fuck it, let's file for divorce. We're getting a divorce. Or he could cry. Or he could, and I know men are gonna be like, what you mean cry? What I mean is not get mad, show that it hurts. Because the person is gonna think about it later. When the book is finally closed and they're sitting there divorced and without their husband, they're gonna think about that moment when the guy was saying to them that this hurt me, instead of him saying, fuck you, bitch, because that's not really what he feel. He doesn't feel that way because we saw him saying to her emotionally, I don't want my wife to drive this way. He didn't saying, bitch, put on no clothes. He's saying, damn, I think that's over. I think that's last year. I think I want you to go up. He sounded like he was on the verge of fucking tears. So he was being emotional. I feel like that works more than, bitch, put on some clothes or I'm finna get a fucking divorce from you. Because I think later she could say, he asked me to put on some clothes, but then it was followed by, bitch, or I'm gonna get a divorce from you. So it takes away from what the person did because of how you reacted. The person can't sit and learn that they really hurt somebody because you didn't act hurt, you acted angry. Yes, what they did makes you angry, but it also hurts your feelings. As a woman, as a page turner, I'm more of, you hurt me, because I think that's gonna affect you later more than you pissed me off.
You know what, man? I'm so tired of you women talking about these fucking rudimentary ass, weak ass dudes that's sitting there wanting them to act like women. I feel like he should turn the other cheek. He should have went across her motherfucking jaw. Is how I feel about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that seems like that's the only thing a motherfucker respond to nowadays. It's crazy to me. It's like women can be verbally abusive to a man, be all out of pocket on every category. We ain't talking about the motherfucker you met in high school and took your virginity and used you and abused you for 10 years and all kind of shit. A motherfucker really gave you his last name, respect you, cut off all his friends, and hold you to a pedestal, and you give him your ass a kiss. That bitch need to be on fucking her knees praising that shit. But because she's who she is, because different women have levels of this shit, because she has beauty and has proven that, well, shit, I could be on a sex tape sucking dick swinging from a pole and someone still marry me.
Oh, and she can be in the White House.
You know what I'm saying?
None of us
that mentality a lot of times is called invincible. When a motherfucker feel they invincible, you put that battery pack in them, that's how they get charged up. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if you dealing with it, I'm serious. If you dealing with a motherfucker like, and this is for women and men, this is free game. You know how you fight with your mate. If your mate one day come to you and it's so much resistance, like attitude, like a battery packing, and you don't recognize the motherfucker, she has another option, or he has another option. There's a fallback plan. The ground that he used to worship, you notice that, damn, this ain't him, it's somebody else there. And her career, or whatever it is that she putting it on, is taking the place of that. So when it comes into categories like that, you gotta close the book on some shit like that. You gonna scratch your head all day trying to figure out somebody else's brain. I tell people, you don't want to be up here. You know what I'm saying? You damn sure don't want to be up there. So at the end of the day, you could want someone to feel how you want them to feel. Like, I was a good person to you.
I do want that.
But guess what?
And that's why I turn pages rather than close books.
But guess what? But that's almost like saying, like, damn, Charles Manson, why you chopped up my family? You was never getting that answer, because you gonna have to go to a place to where he at to even understand that. So
but why do they give families the opportunity to do that in the court before why? Because it's needed. Because they feel like he's gonna sit for years, and they want him to remember
the
pain more than the anger.
That's cool. And guess what? But do they get them answers? No. I'm not saying you can't ask for those answers, but what I'm saying is it need to be a limit on those answers. Why it is. When someone show you who they are,
believe it the first.
Believe who they are. I trust. If a person is a snake, they a snake. If they a cheater, they a cheater. If they a liar, they a liar. That's just who the fuck they are. I'm not finna sit here and be like, why is it that you keep cheating on me? For the 12th time, the 13th time, the 14th. That's who the fuck they are. Just because you treating them good don't mean that you're gonna find the answers to that. Now, you can find answers to me inside yourself. But another person? Nah. That shit need to be turn the page, close, block. I'm good on life. You go that way, I'll go that way. And the chance of us running into each other again is gonna be almost slim to fucking none. And I'm cool with that. And I can stand on that.
I get it. I do get it. I just really for me to see someone broken, for me, I'm not gonna remember anybody later on, I feel like, in life that I pissed off. I am going to remember everybody that I made.
Let me ask you a question. I got a question for you. There's been a couple of times when you say you done had bad sexual experience with a person. I'm quite sure out of one of those people, someone really liked you. And you like, this just ain't gonna work out. And you come up with some excuses and you finagle them and shift them to the side. Did you feel bad when you did that to them?
No. Because I think we're talking about two different things. I feel like, no, I want to say this because when I'm having a conversation with somebody, if something is hurting their feelings, my approach is going to be different. If trust me, a person that I'm having bad sex with, their feelings ain't hurt. And if they are, they're not showing me their feelings hurt. What happened when you tell somebody they got bad dick is they chest swell up. They don't go sincere, oh, you hurt my feelings.
Okay, so, but that's not always the case. So you said at one point in time, not sure what episode it was, you was like, well, the dude dick was so small, I just really couldn't, like, fuck with him. So I opted not to. But by you doing that, you hurt his feelings. And people know when you hurt your feelings and some shit like that, it's like, damn, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why did she do me like that? So now he's on this path of why did Cain and Lassiter, like, reject me? And he's hurt. Should he close the book on that? Should he just tear that out? I'm just asking.
Again, I think this is, and I'm going to tell you, when you mention that, because I do have a real story like that where I really played this guy.
I know. We talked about it on here.
I played the fuck out of this dude.
Yeah, you ain't feel too bad.
I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I do. Sometimes, and that's what I'm saying. In life, when we're maturing and growing and becoming Madam Butterflies,
so
that's who I'm going to remember, the people that I hurt.
Cool. So why'd you close the book on him?
Well, I closed the book because there were no pages to turn. I wasn't interested. But people turn pages when people have value. To even make it inside the book, you got to have value.
But look,
he didn't have any value.
But
I still hurt his feelings, so he's still a thought of mine, which proves my point.
But he made it in the book because he part of your never-ending story.
You know what?
You know what I'm saying? So really, at the end of the day, he did meet the pages. You know what I'm saying? Because you telling the story. But for him, his heart is broken. And he might not get his ball back. So at the end of the day, you close the book and he might have tore out the page. It's just like,
it's true, you don't know whether or to what extent you've hurt someone.
Exactly.
I will say that.
Thank you.
That does prove your point.
Thank you.
So I get it. However, I think we clearly know there are a group of people we clearly know who we've damaged and who we've hurt.
No, we don't. I honestly don't say that because a lot of times I think a lot of people honestly feel like, you might have felt like, well, he'll find somebody else. What if he didn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of times, like, when, like, everybody is not able to rebound, like, the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just assume that. Like, I was watching an episode of The Sopranos, and Tony had a situation where he was dealing with a side chick, and one day his wife was like, hey, remember that nice car salesperson, Gloria? She didn't even know he was fucking around with the bitch. She was like, she fucked around and killed herself. And his face was like, what? She killed herself, and the very first thing he thought was like, this bitch done killed herself over me. But you know why he felt that way? Throwing her away, he like, man, you an attractive woman, you can get somebody else, this and that. But he has no idea of the mental stability of where she was to be like, I could just throw her away, she'll be okay. And then she wasn't okay. Yeah. And then he find out that, book closed. Chapter is over. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So you don't know.
Good movie too, by the way.
Because you don't know how badly you hurt people, because in the world that we live in, we don't know. We don't know what breakups do to other people. We don't know how people go away from you being like, I don't want to see your ass no more ever in life. Don't call me no more. Don't touch me. You don't know that. You do not know how someone's gonna feel.
Yeah, you really don't. And that's actually kind of scary. And a whole nother topic. because I keep referencing in my head. I keep thinking Lynn Whitfield. What's the name of the movie? The Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
With that crazy bitch.
He was just being normal, him. And he ran into the wrong bitch to do that too. So if you have that experience, you should write in so we can do the tap in portion of the show, like we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna read the tap in right now.
Tap.
Okay, so. Okay. My girlfriend cheated, and I tried to fight her side nigga. I lost, but then she stayed with me to take care of me, but he kept asking her to go with him. Is this proof that she loves me, not him?
Fuck no. This is pity at its finest. You need your
Gotta show the
ass
girl you're hurt.
whooped again. This is beta at its finest. You approach the side nigga. Just write this down on paper.
So bad. Because I can see him wanting to defend the honor of his woman, step up this guy, and then he beats him up. And, she goes home with him, and now he's wounded. I think because he's wounded, he's vulnerable. So he really thinks her being there with him is love.
His pride is hurt. He feeling super stupid. He's having flashbacks. The nigga probably told him what he was doing to her while he was whooping him. You know what I'm saying?
Getting my motherfucking dick sucked for the last 6 months.
Like, no, she definitely do not love you. She just felt sorry for you because like women, at the end of the day or probably tomorrow night, she gonna be on that dick over there. But she gotta go on with you and patch you up, I guess. But I'm just gonna say, that's ridiculous. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but I feel bad that's why I know it's funny, but I feel really bad that he's asking sincerely. Yo, she came home with me. He clearly was saying, you trying to take her away, and she went home with him, and he's sincerely asking, does this show that she chose me? Did I really win? Is what he's asking, essentially.
Let me ask you a question. Let's flip this around. Let's just say, for instance, like you was out somewhere and the side bitch came and whooped your ass. You know what I'm saying? I take you up and I take you home. Do I love you?
No. I'm fighting your ass out in the car.
You understand what I'm saying? So the next time someone asks you some shit like this, say, put this in reverse. And you'll get the right, correct answer. Hell no, this motherfucking bitch don't love you, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, there ain't even nothing else to be said on this. This is just, if you got something to say, just ride with it.
Nope. But if you wanted to hear it again, you can rewind it or tune in every single Friday night. This is an episode of Relations. My name is Kayna Lassiter. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at Kayna Lassiter.
Hey, you can reach me on both platforms, IG and Twitter. I want to thank everybody for joining on Podbean. Please follow. Hey, every Friday, check us out on YouTube. You got to subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss anything. Click that link. Come out there and debate with us. You're looking for the shirts, you know where to find them. AlphaMaleGodCreations.com. And like I always say about this time, peace.